I recently put out a video that performed well beyond my expectations, covering the Sega Saturn music game, Jung Rhythm. I've made videos covering translated Japanese games from the era before, and they generally got around 1,000 or 2,000 views before dying, so I was expecting the same to happen with this one. But nope, it got over 10,000 views less than 24 hours after it was published, and it just kept growing from there. Again, not at all what I was expecting from it. Still, the success of this video led to a lot of stress. First and foremost, the thing that absolutely haunts me is the fact that in the video, I say the main character of the game's name is Jung. Makes sense, right? I mean, the game is called Jung Rhythm, and there she is on the box. Well, no, that's not her name, cause her real name is actually Vanilla Essence. What? When I play a game that I'm reviewing, I often write down notes when there's a pause in the gameplay. And while I could do just that, pause the game, some titles, such as this, don't leave a lot of room for pausing, and would kind of mess up the gameplay footage. In fact, in Jung Rhythm's case, there doesn't even seem to be a pause function. So, I wrote down my thoughts in between levels during the scoring section and as cutscenes were playing. Now, I try my best to multitask and still keep track of the story as I do this, and I got the other characters' names right, but I was so certain that the main character's name was Jung that either I missed it, or the game saying anything else just didn't register with me. I mean, imagine there was this game called Herc Bullets, with this picture of a big dude with a gun on the box. You might assume, okay, this guy's name is clearly Herc. Why wouldn't it be? But then also imagine you play the game and it turns out his name isn't Herc, it's Elvis Pistachio, and the organization he works for is called Herc. And all mention of this is in another language. You might miss it and still think his name is Herc. I guess I should mention that a lot of the time I spent playing Jung Rhythm was the Japanese version and not the translated version. And even when it was the translated version, again, I wasn't always looking. And, you know, I would love to just re-record the lines if YouTube would let channels that aren't run by mega corporations replace videos without making a new upload, but I can't do that. Of course, that's another topic completely. So yeah, that's the biggest thing, but another aspect that could have been better is the fact that I only played through half the game for the video. As I said before, I didn't think that many people would see the thing, and my primary reason for making it was that it had been a while since I'd put out something new, and since I'd recently tracked down a copy of the game after trying to find it for years with the intention of covering it somehow, I thought it'd be a great topic for a quick video that shared a common theme with a much larger project on the topic of ripoffs that I'd been working on for quite a while. Still, knowing the huge interest people have in the game, I guess I did it a disservice. So I decided to play through the remaining 3 stages and cover them here. So in the original video, I went over the first level, where you're in the kitchen with Mama Essence, the second level, where you dance with school bully Dorian, and the third level, where you're painting with Picasso. Originally, I tried the Picasso level about 5 or so times on emulation, and then another 5 or so times on original hardware, never finishing it once, and coming to the conclusion that it was way too hard. I just wanted to get back to playing Metaphor ReFantazio. Sorry. Still, with that game finished, I came back to Jung Rhythm dead set on completing it, but prepared to spend a lot of time on this stage. My body and mind was ready. I played through the first 2 levels, then got to Picasso, ready to face my foe. And then I beat it in one try. Okay then. I guess I did just slightly better than before. Despite this accomplishment, I figured there was no way I did well enough to get the score required to make it to the next stage. But again, I was wrong. My rhythm was terrible, but apparently everything else was spot on. So I got a 75% and passed. I mean, that's great, but also I'm very confused how I did so poorly before, but did just fine this time. I guess it was just me jamming as many buttons as I could during the game's ad-lib segments and scoring 100 on that aspect that saved me. Well, with that out of the way, I moved on to Stage 4, expecting it to be an incredible challenge. I mean, I'd played the Picasso stage a ton before, so surely that had something to do with my sudden success. In a cutscene, Vanilla, is out with her friends, having trouble deciding what to do next. To help aid in making this decision, they all agree to do rock, paper, scissors, and... wait. In Parappa, you and your friends also have a rock, paper, scissors battle to decide what to do. In the cutscene before that game's 4th level. I mean, there's no doubt the developer's goal was to make the Saturn's take on Parappa, but come on guys. You don't have to follow the game that precisely. Anyway, the result of the battle leads you to karaoke, where you end up singing with some old dude who kinda reminds me of Heihachi Mishima from the Tekken series. And, yeah, it's a pretty slow, easygoing song. I didn't really have any trouble keeping up with him, and ended up completing it on my first try. And yes, once again, I scored well enough to pass. Not a surprise considering the tempo of the song, though it is kinda crazy to go from something so difficult to something so easy. Moving on to Stage 5, Jung, which I've decided is indeed her real name, is at a burger shop with her friends. Hey, that's something you saw in Parappa 1's intro cutscene, though you wouldn't actually have a level set in a burger shop until Parappa 2, so this did kinda beat them in that regard. Well, you end up spontaneously working here with a black disco guy named Coconut Pine. I swear, every other time you saw a black dude in a Japanese game in the 90s, he looked like this. Also, look at this level. Wow, it seriously reminds me of the first level in Parappa 2. The only explanation for this is that the makers of Jung Rhythm somehow copied Parappa 2 from the past using some sort of time travel device. Or have the tables turned with Parappa 2 ripping off Jung Rhythm? No, it couldn't be. So, as before, I was expecting to have a hard time, and I did cut it pretty close, but yet again, I ended up not only finishing this level on my first try, but also scoring high enough to move on. What the hell was up with that Picasso stage? Oh well, moving on. Before getting to the final level, you're treated to a cutscene in which Jung is singing as we see a montage of her going through her day, leading up to a concert for Mr. Chorking, the pop star she's been obsessing over. This is the first time in the game we get to hear a song that's in English rather than Japanese. It even includes little subtitles of the lyrics, which are in the original Japanese version, and not just something that was added in the translation. So, in Parappa, the cutscene before the final stage is a montage going through events leading up to a big concert. Yet again, it's like the developers were just like, what did they do at this point in Parappa? A montage? A concert? Alright, got it. Okay, so yeah, you're performing on stage with Mr. Chorking. As is no surprise, this is very similar to the last level of Parappa. That said, I actually really liked the song in this stage. This is also the first time I ended up failing a level since Picasso. I'm not sure exactly what it was, since it still wasn't as fast moving as that song, but it did take me 3 tries. Well, one thing that was kinda cheap in this stage was that there's this point where you don't repeat his bar, but simply finish it, which will probably mess up most people on their first play of it. But on my 3rd try, I did manage to finish the level and see the final cutscene, which reveals that the entire game was a dream. Wow. Very original there, guys. And there is supposedly a bonus 7th level if you score high enough on level 6, but I'm really ready to move on. Still, that's Jung Rhythm. As crazy as it may sound, I did have a few people saying the similarities with Parappa must have just been a coincidence. And I hope this makes it a bit more clear that this game was indeed a ripoff. I mean, it even copies exact story beats. So one thing I guess might be worth going into is the game's developer, Ultron. They actually mostly specialized in licensed games. One of the games included with the Sega Genesis I got at a garage sale as a kid was Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics, which turns out was developed by them. That game sucks, but hey, it was one of the first Genesis games I ever played. As an early 90s born millennial, I'm not really that interested in going over all the Nickelodeon games they did for portable systems throughout the O's, but one title that did catch my eye was their GBA rendition of the game, The Simpsons Road Rage. Now, this is more to do with the console version, but that game is a notorious Crazy Taxi ripoff. I guess ripoffs just run in their blood. Oh, and there were these 2 recent music games that people in the comments kept bringing up, but, you know, I don't know much about those. But if you like music games, make sure to try Gitaru Man, which is amazing, and the Rock Band series, which is also great and can be played on modern consoles with an endless ocean of DLC tracks that date all the way back to 2007. Those are my 2 favorites in the genre to have no relation to Parappa and Nana Onsha. In fact, Rock Band might be my favorite, period. And, as I said in the previous video, if you just want something that's almost exactly like Parappa, give Jung Rhythm a try. Some of the songs aren't half bad, the art style is fun, and Jung, which is the only name I will accept, is a likable character. It's an alright experience. Well, that's that. Now, before you get super upset thinking I besmirched the name of your beloved game by calling it a ripoff, don't forget that being a ripoff isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it even adds to the enjoyment. And also,
It's only a game. Why do you have to be mad?
if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to see more like it in the future. Fans of the channel may also want to consider supporting it on Patreon or as a YouTube member for early access footage, a chance to pick games for review, and more. Well, with that said, I guess it's time to close this thing out. As always, thanks for watching The Legend of Games.